All right, stage 3 of our ATV guided tutorial session here. So you can see we've got the base in place, we've got the two sides, and the wheels all in place. So the next couple of stages are kind of the polishing features. So we're going to add a side to give him a little bit of a better look, and then add a little platform in the middle for this guy in the final stage. But this stage here is mainly focusing on the side. So let's get in and tidy that up. So I'm going to jump back over to my part studio, and now that is in place here. We've got all of our labels all nicely happening. So I'm going to add in a new sketch again. So this is going to come in. This one here I want to do on this face here. So that will then give me access to the things that I need as we go. So I'm going to go N normal 2, and I'm going to go a G rectangle, which is the corner rectangle. So I'm going to go from there, and we're going to bring that in line with that one and make that 10. Or actually I'm going to leave that off and make that coincident. So I is the shortcut with that. So he's now fixed. I'll do the same thing over here. So I'm going to go G, grab the corner, where that hover through. Even if I just bring that there, I'm going to go I, lined with that, I, lined with that. So now I've got those two there. And what I want to be able to do is I want to add a circle in the middle. So I'm going to go back to N and go to circle, so C, and I should be able to then find the midpoint of that and make that tangent. And if he's 3, that then locks him in there. So I have those there ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to then repeat that so it's in line up here for that platform. So I'm going to put in a line and make that Q. I'm just going to have that in line there, bring him across. Fantastic. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mirror those 3 things up the top. So mirror, pick that one, and then I'm going to grab those all there. So what's really cool here is if I now, because this is flexible, I haven't locked that in, they stay symmetric. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go I and make that coincident with that, and now that's all fixed in. So if I have a look, I can check the dimension of that, and that is 27 from the inside edges of those. So that is looking good. What I want to be able to do next is I'm going to add in the overall shape for this. So I'm going to keep with that 135 arc. So I'm going to grab one of those. It's going to bring him somewhere around up there. And then I'm going to go E for equals. So it goes in line with that. And you can see I've got that. So if I have that concentric, he then goes into exactly the same spot because they're equal. And now I can play with that to the size that I need it to be. So I'm going to bring him around somewhere around there. All right. So from there, I need to have some cutouts for my wheels. So what we're going to do with those is I want to have a circle. I'm going to put him somewhere around there, and I want that to be about 27.5 for that front wheel. I'm going to make that concentric with that axle hole. So select those two, and that locks him in. So that looks good. Well, actually, that is and I think we're going to find that's the wrong size because I had that as a radius. So what we can do is we can times that by 2, which gives me my 55, which looks closer to what I want to be able to see. From there, we're going to go in and add my rear tire, which is going to have a radius of 40. And that is based around, we kind of have to guess that one a little bit for the moment. So I'm just going to add him. I know it's going to be in line with that. And he wants to be 40 radius, so diameter of 80. So that is now kind of where I want to be able to go. I'm going to add a dimension for that one. So if I have a look, he wants to be, and we'll actually maybe finish that off and lock that in context so that we can see it compared to the wheel. But what I need to be able to do is add a little bit more information through here to close off that. So I'm going to make that so he's only 3 away from there. We don't need anything else. So that's going to fix in. I want to be able to close this one up. So I'm going to go, I could even just leave it straight across there, couldn't I? So let's go for a line across there. So we've got that closed. This guy we can bring up and fix in there. So now we've got our front edge. We've got the bottom here. I can now trim the bottom of that off. So I'm going to go M to trim, cut that. So now I have the opening for my wheel. All right, the same thing at the back. I'm going to go back to line and I'm going to bring that down to him. And I'm going to make him about 25. And as I shift that, you'll see that will change where that back is going. So dependent on the rest of it, we will see that. So I'm going to go M, trim that off. So now I have my outside shape. I'm going to extrude that now. So we don't have to have everything finished in the first instance. So this is not going to be an add. I want this to be a new. So that often is a curly point for something we forget. So I've got my sketches. I'm going to rename those. So this is going to be my side and my extrude for the side. If I can type. All right, so that's looking good. I'm going to come back over to my assembly and drop him in place. So insert him. There's my part 3. And I forgot to name that, so I'll need to go back and fix that up. I'm going to go mate. I'm going to use that little guy there, which should coincide with the top outside edge here. And I go tick. So if we have a look from the right hand side, we're not too bad. This guy needs to be a little bit further in. That one's spot on, as we would expect. And then we're looking all right. From here, I'm going to go right click on here and go editing context. And what that should give me is I can then use concentric with one of those circles in the middle there. So right click again, edit that side sketch. And now I'm going to make that concentric. So that one with one of the wheels. So now that's been fixed in. The last thing I need to decide is what sort of angle I want that to look like. I might make that so coincident, that line, so it goes a nice straight line to that. So now it's just a straight line down to that corner. I finish that. We've got our circle around the outside. I think that side piece is how I would like it to be. And we've got it set up ready to be able to add that final piece over the top in the last one. So I'm going to add one more of these. I'm going to go Control C, Control V, grab that other part and mate him on the other side. So I'm going to go M, that one there, with that one there. So that is now ready to go. The last thing I want to do is come back over here and we're going to rename that. So that's my side. So stage 3 is now complete with everything in place where it needs to be. We've got space for this guy to sit, and if we bring him in through, we'll see we're ready for the last stage where this guy's going to be sitting in place, and we should just have enough space for him to sit safely in here. So, well done on stage 3. Final stage of construction coming next.